We have to keep going as a story, and it's like a jigsaw, tiny pieces.
Okay, well, let's talk about killing off characters, because that has become something that people are very, up in arms about, that you can't trust. I mean, back in the day when you had an ensemble, chances were they would remain an ensemble, maybe one or two with but now, I mean, the ground just shifts beneath your feet every 15 minutes.
Well,
I mean,
us,
maybe not so much for you, but
I don't quite have the same.
You don't have that problem.
Well, that would
you
be
just
a
have
shocker.
people having sex with the weird people that you didn't think they would be having sex with.
But what I think was difficult for American audiences to deal with us is that in England, you can't get anyone for longer than a 3-year contract. And they're used to 5 years of the same actors and so on. We don't have that. Anyone after 3 years, anyone who wants to go, goes. And you have to somehow make it work. And so we knew Jessica was leaving quite early on. She said, I'm going to do 3 years and that's it. So that was easy. We built it in and we decided, what's going to kill her and all this stuff. And actually all that eclampsia was very interesting. And interesting to research, and they were pleased because a lot of people had thought it had kind of gone away, which it absolutely has not. So all of that was fine. But Dan didn't decide that he wanted to leave until we started filming, and we already had 5 episodes, including her death. So we couldn't have another whole episode about her death because the whole thing would then turn into 6 Feet Under. So we somehow had to just knock him off quickly, and then we'd have a 6-month gap, which is what we did. But that's the reason our characters died. We've only ever killed one character, and that was William the footman, who met his end in the First World War, because we just felt with a house the size of Downton.
What about the Turk?
The Turk we killed. But I mean, he as a character, he was born to die. But with William, we just felt someone in the house had to die. Because, I mean, in the First War,
Did you draw lots?
My grandfather died, my great-uncle died of wounds, 2 cousins of theirs died, one of my great-aunts was torpedoed. The idea that any family or household would get through with no one dead was just not believable. So that's the only one we did kill. But the others just, no, they were leaving. And that was that.
The season finale this year I thought was interesting, and this goes towards Twitter and social media. Everyone's like, well, who's going to die? Because it's a season finale, who's going to die? And, we had worked out the story, a long time earlier. No one was dying. It wasn't part of the story. Things were happening, and the theme and the overall story was being fulfilled, but that didn't dictate that somebody was dying, and it was such a shocker that no one died, which I was thrilled with.
Didn't leak.
Yeah, I was thrilled with that. I mean, dying on television shows is a normal thing now. It happens in broadcast, it happens in cable, it happens so much now that it's a tricky thing now. You want it to be good, and you don't want it to be, oh yeah, somebody died, what a shock. You want there to be an emotional reaction. So I think that ultimately puts even more pressure on you to make sure that every character you have is worthy of mourning by the audience.
Do you think, I get the sense like the rules of television have changed greatly in that you used to not be able to have a main character, an empathetic character who is, killing people on a regular basis. And yet many of the people at this table have that main character and yet we still like them, even though they are murderers. And now, rape has become an issue where a lot of shows are showing rape and people are getting upset about that. There have been the death of children now, which used to be very taboo on television, now happens regularly. And are there still rules? Do you think of, like, in terms of, that there are things your characters can't do and remain likable?
Well, I think shows have rules and characters have rules, but I don't think likability is an issue the way it used to be. I think characters are free to be fuller and more complex in that sense.
Although in most big hits, there are characters that you get involved with, aren't there?
Involved, but you don't have to like them.
I have to like them a bit.
But I think likability. But likability doesn't. But to be likable, one does not always have to do the right thing or the good thing,
No.
and people can be in difficult, complicated situations and make hard, charged choices.
I have a problem with these murderer heroes. I don't get it.
Well, I actually quibble with the use of the word murder in the case of our show, because I don't think our heroes are murderers at all. They're killers, they're soldiers. They kill in war from their point of view, but they're not sociopaths. They're not like some of the characters on other television shows that have examined sociopathology. That's not what The Americans is about.
I mean, I do have a problem with that. The sort of, I won't name any shows.
So the Dowager won't be killing
everyone
anybody
works
next
hard.
season.
She won't be a killer anyway.
I think you're setting us up. I think now I know what next season is all
Violet,
about.
the serial killer.
Exactly. She's going to put arsenic in everybody's teeth.
She'll just freeze them to death with a glance.
Well, she absolutely. Well, that she does on a weekly basis.